my name is Joan and welcome to Joni's Pointed Plate. I have been a member of WW, formerly Weight Watchers, since last February 2018. I have lost 63 pounds on the plan and I just wanted to bring you some meal prep videos, some grocery hauls, a day in the life, what I eat type thing. This is my first video, so please be kind. And today we will be meal prepping egg bites in the Instant Pot, egg roll in a bowl, and hopefully the 2-ingredient bagels, which are, of course, as you know, quite popular amongst us WW gals and guys. So here we go, and we will start with the egg bites in the Instant Pot. These will be breakfast for myself and my husband a few times this week. First thing we need to do is 6 eggs in the blender. And to those 6 eggs, we are going to add 3/4 cup of cottage cheese. I'm using the Low Point 1% cottage cheese from Aldi. You can probably lower the points on this recipe a bit by using fat-free, but this is what I had in the house. So this is what I chose to use. That goes right in the blender. Then we're going to do 3/4 cup of Greek yogurt, the non-fat, plain Greek yogurt. I know a lot of people are Greek yogurt snobs and like the Fage. I pretty much use anything. I mostly use Aldi, but I happened to do a BJ's run last week, and this big one is from BJ's. I also like to make my own homemade in the Instant Pot once a week. We use that for breakfasts and things, but when I'm baking or cooking, I generally use the commercially prepared. So that goes right into the blender. And then we add 3 ounces of shredded Cabot cheese. I use the Cabot Extra Light 75% less fat. I don't like this cheese to slice and eat because I do think it's a little rubbery, but it really melts nicely when you're making things like macaroni and cheese or in your eggs and things like that. And it's very low in points. So that's going right in the blender. And then we are going to do a couple shakes of salt. We're going to put the lid on and blend it up. Helps if you plug the blender in before you try to blend it up. Sorry about the dog barking. My dog does not like noise. Before we finish off the egg bites, I want to get my egg roll in a bowl started so that can cook down while we're finishing those up. So the first thing I'm going to use is the Tricolor coleslaw bag. It's a 1-pound bag. We're going to cook this down with a little bit of ginger, a little bit of olive oil, and some garlic. So I add about a teaspoon of olive oil to the pan. Throw in my coleslaw mix. And some garlic. Generally, I like to use fresh garlic and press it myself, but feeling a little bit lazy today. So we're going to throw in about 2 teaspoons of garlic. And then about a 1/4 teaspoon of the squeezed minced ginger. I'm going to stir that up. Turn the heat down and just let that cook down, stirring once in a while. Okay, our egg mixture is ready in the blender. The next thing I'm going to do is take 4 slices of Canadian bacon, 4 slices is 1 point of the Roses brand. I get that at BJ's. I'm going to dice it up nice and small. You can put anything you want into these egg bites, sun-dried tomatoes and basil, or any kind of veggies, herbs, whatever you want. I'm using what I have on hand today, which happens to be the Canadian bacon, and I had some fresh mushrooms that I sauteed in a tiny bit of butter. We're going to chop those up and add those in also. Okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to divide it among my cups. The silicone cups for the egg bites. And I'm just going to put a little bit in the bottom of each one. Each one makes 7 egg bites, and you can cook 2 at a time. I will be honest with you, this is the very first time I am making these, so I hope they come out. I've been wanting to make them and just finally purchased the egg bite molds the other day. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is chop up my sauteed mushrooms so they're nice and fine. I'm going to use my Pampered Chef chopper. This thing is as old as can be, but I still love it, except for the noise factor. Okay, just like with the Canadian bacon, just going to divide the mushrooms evenly. This was an 8-ounce package of mushrooms. I think peppers, tomatoes, pretty much anything would be delicious in these. Okay, next thing we have to do is fill them up with the egg mixture. Fill each one 3/4 of the way full. Too much in that one. The silicone egg cups do come with lids. The recipe I found said that the lids don't work really well and that foil is a better option. So I'm going to cover them each tightly with foil. And then we're going to add 2 cups of water into the pressure cooker with the trivet inside. So we're going to stack them into the Instant Pot without trying to spill them. Right on top of each other, but a little offset so they don't fall into each other. The lid goes on. Close the sealing valve. And then we're going to set it to high pressure. Eight minutes on steam. And let it go. Now that the coleslaw mixture for the egg roll in a bowl has cooked down a bit, I'm just going to add in a couple of tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce. I usually add 2, but I think I'm going to add 3 today. Give it a good stir. And let that continue to cook for a couple more minutes. While the egg bites are working in the Instant Pot, it's still building up to pressure, and the egg roll in a bowl is finishing up. I'm going to make some 2-ingredient dough bagels. These are, I think, the most popular item for people on WW. They come out to 3 Smart Points each. They are absolutely delicious. I make them in my air fryer, but you can also do them in the oven. The 2 ingredients are self-rising flour and Greek yogurt. Mine are 4 ingredients because I do not use self-rising flour. I use 1 cup of regular all-purpose flour. I take a little bit out of the cup and put it on the board for when I need it. And then I don't have to add any extra points in. And then to make my own self-rising flour, to 1 cup of flour, I add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 3/4 teaspoons of kosher salt. You can use any kind of salt you'd like. And to that, I'm going to add just under 1 cup of Greek yogurt. It does tend to get sticky, so I find that if I add a little bit less Greek yogurt, it's not quite as sticky. So I'm going to add not quite 1 full cup. And then I'm just going to mix it all up. Till it starts to come together. And then when it starts to come together, I'm going to turn it out onto my board. I find it easier to do on a board. Some people like to do it right on a counter. Sometimes it's a mess to clean the counter up when you're done. And then I just give it a quick knead a couple times. And there you have it. Some people like to just pat it down and cut it into 4 sections to make 4 bagels. I'm a little OCD when it comes to certain things, and I like all my bagels to be exactly the same size. So I get my scale out and I'm going to weigh it in grams. So the entire ball of dough is 322 grams. So we're going to divide that by 4, which comes out to about 80.5, 81 grams each bagel. So I'm going to take off until I get down to 241 grams. Close enough. And then 160 grams. Close enough. And then 80 grams. So we'll just do this one right in half. Ooh, close. Close enough. So we have 4 pretty equal bagels. I'm just gonna put a little bit of flour on my hands. And I don't make the traditional bagels. You can roll them out and make them into bagel shapes. I just make a little bagel bun. I figure that way when I eat them, there's more surface area, because a lot of times I'll eat these with tuna salad or egg salad on them, and then my egg salad and tuna salad don't mush through the little hole in the middle. So I just make them into cute little bagel buns. And it's quicker. The entire recipe is 12 Smart Points. So divide it by 4. Each bagel is only 3 Smart Points, and they are absolutely delicious. You don't have to keep them plain. A very popular thing to use on them is the Everything But the Bagel seasoning that you can get at Sam's Club or Walmart or Trader Joe's. I am personally not a fan of that. I don't like the onion and the garlic and the salt. So I just will do an egg wash on these, and then I sprinkle them with a little bit of poppy seed and sesame seed. You can also add cinnamon to the mixture while you're mixing it, and a few little raisins, which will add points, but you can make cinnamon raisin bagels. I've heard of people adding pumpkin puree to make pumpkin bagels. I've heard blueberries to make blueberry bagels. I'm pretty plain with mine because I generally just eat them with a breakfast sandwich, or like I said, for lunch with egg salad or tuna salad, or I just like to make a bagel on the side with my omelet. So there we go, and now we're just going to brush them with an egg wash. Okay, so we are just going to brush them with a beaten egg. And I will make a second batch of these after I'm done the first. I'm just not going to film the second batch because you certainly don't need to watch me do it again. And once they're out of the air fryer and they're cool, I like to slice them, put them in a freezer bag, and keep them in the freezer. They will go bad pretty quickly if you leave them right in the cabinet because there are really no preservatives in them. So they will turn quick on you, but I like to have them in the freezer. I pull them out, I throw them in the microwave for 15 seconds, and then I toast them. Like I said, I just like a little bit of poppy seed and a little bit of sesame seed on mine. And I just realized I forgot to preheat the air fryer. So we will get the air fryer preheating to 325 degrees. And then we will bake them for about 12 to 13 minutes. And in the last 2 to 3 minutes, I open up the air fryer and I flip them over so both sides get nice and brown. Okay, the air fryer is heated. I am just going to open up the drawer, spray it with a little bit of cooking spray so they don't stick. And I have the 6-quart New Wave air fryer, and it fits 4 bagels in there very nicely. I'm going to put it in and set it for 13 minutes. And like I said, when there's about 3 minutes left, I'll go in and I'll flip them so both sides get nice and brown. We are going to go over and finish off the egg roll in a bowl. I am just going to add about 10 medium-sized shrimp chopped up. You can use ground chicken, ground turkey, ground pork, whatever you like in your egg roll. I happen to like shrimp, so that's what I'm using. And then to finish it off, I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of sesame oil. Sesame oil has a very strong flavor, so you only need a tiny little bit just to give it that nice finished flavor. And then when this cools down, I will portion it out in 2 separate containers, one for a lunch for me this week and one for a lunch for my husband this week. And each serving is 1 Freestyle Smart Point. And there it is, the egg roll in a bowl. You can also use the same mixture to do egg rolls. I buy the Nasoya egg roll wrappers at Walmart, and they are 2 points for 1 and 3 points for 2. You can put this mixture in there and throw them right in your air fryer, and they are absolutely delicious. My entire family loves them. But here it is, the egg roll in a bowl. Since I'm waiting for the Instant Pot to release pressure and the bagels to be done, I thought I'd whip up a quick dessert. Thanks to one of my BFFs, Denise, and I forget the name of her Instagram page, for sharing this recipe with me. It is for a Jell-O fluff. You just need 1 box of sugar-free Jell-O. And you mix in 1/2 cup of boiling water. And you mix it until it's completely dissolved. About 2 minutes or so, probably. Sorry for that. My husband's filming and I was talking to him. He was trying not to cough in your faces and was making very funny faces, but as you heard him, he just coughed. So there you go. Mix all that up until it's completely dissolved, and then we're going to add 1/2 cup of cold water to that. I made this last week and it really is delicious, and the best part about it is it makes 4 servings and it is 0 Smart Points. So now we're going to put it in the fridge for about 1/2 hour until it gets slightly thickened, and then we're going to pull it out and we're going to add 200 grams of fat-free Greek yogurt to it. Mix that all up, divide it into 4 servings, and refrigerate for about 2 hours. And then I like to serve it topped with a squirt of the fat-free Reddi-wip. And there it goes, going in the fridge for about 1/2 hour, and then we'll add the yogurt. The bagels are down to about 3 minutes. So I'm gonna open it up. They look beautiful. Just flip them over and let them finish cooking for the last 3 minutes. And also the pin has dropped on the pressure cooker, so all the pressure's released. So I'm gonna take off the lid and honestly say a little prayer, because I've never made these before and I have no idea if they're gonna turn out. And they look really hot, so I am going to grab my cooling rack and some pot holders. Trying to find the best way to get these out of here so I don't burn myself. I know they sell like a sling for the Instant Pot that you can put under and then just lift out. That may have to be my next investment. And if you notice, my Instant Pot ring is red. I just bought a new set of rings color coded. The clear ring I keep just for taco stuff because it really smells bad. I've tried every hack there is. The vinegar, the lemon, steaming it. I can't get the taco smell out. So that is just for tacos. The red ring is for anything else that won't smell. And my blue ring is for when I make yogurt. Okay, so moment of truth. And it just dawned on me. I forgot to grease the molds. Wah, wah. I have no idea if these are going to come out or not because I forgot to grease the molds. They look beautiful. Oh, I think they're going to come out. You're supposed to let them cool completely before you release them. So we're going to let them sit here and cool, but I think they look pretty good. We will see. Okay, the bagels are done, so we're going to pull those out and let them cool. So, there is our breakfast. There is some breakfast and lunch, and we have the egg roll in a bowl for lunch. I will be back shortly to finish up with the dessert, and I'm gonna go off camera and actually get my dinner started so I can feed my family tonight. I am making lasagna, but it is too long to film for you. I also have one more thing to meal prep. I'll see if I'm gonna film that. It is twice baked potatoes. I'm going to use them later in the week. I'm gonna make 6 of them. We need 3 for us. And I'm going to freeze them for a later time. So I will be back and I will see you soon. Okay, so the next step of the Jell-O, it's been in the fridge for about a half an hour, is to add 200 grams of the non-fat Greek yogurt. So I just put it on my scale, set it to grams. And we'll measure up to 200 grams. Oh, close enough, 208. Then what we're gonna do is just whisk it in. I probably should have used a bigger bowl. That's okay. And then this will go back in the fridge for about 2 hours or until set. You can either portion it out now into 4 separate servings, or I'm just gonna leave it in this bowl because I'll probably be the only one that eats it. And it's Jell-O, so you can sort of cut it. I'll just scoop it out when I wanna eat it. Divide it by 4 and scoop it out. And I will squirt it with some fat-free Reddi-wip, and there will be a 0-point dessert for me. Okay, the last thing we're gonna meal prep are the twice baked potatoes for later in the week and a couple for the freezer. I baked 3 large baking potatoes for about an hour and a half at 400 degrees earlier. They're cool now, so I'm gonna scoop out the insides and weigh it out. I'm not quite sure the points on this until it's done because honestly, I have issues with potatoes sometimes, cooked versus not cooked and everything. So we'll figure that out at the end. So first thing we're gonna do is just scoop out the insides. I'm scooping them out into a bowl on my scale so I can see how much potato we have. And when you scoop it out, you should leave about a 1/4 inch in there to give it some sturdiness for the stuffing to go back in. Okay, we have our 6 potato halves done. And it's about 11.38 ounces of cooked potato. I'll probably use that number when I'm putting it in the recipe builder to figure out the points, and I'll probably add 1 extra point because we do like to eat the skins and the remaining that's left in there. I'll figure that out towards the end. So to our 11.38 ounces of potato, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of reduced sodium chicken broth, 1 cup of the Cabot 1/2 cup of the Cabot 75% reduced fat cheese. We're going to reserve the other 1/2 cup for later and sprinkle it on top. 1/3 cup of green onions sliced, and 1/4 cup of fat-free sour cream. And then 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard. I'm going to use my hand mixer because I'm too lazy to get my KitchenAid out, and mix this all together. Now I'm going to fill the shells back up with the potato mixture. I think I probably should have used a little less chicken broth. Live and learn. I am going to put all these right into the freezer. And on the day I go to use them, if you were using them right now, you would just top them with the extra cheese and a little bit of paprika. And put them in the back in the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes to get them nice and brown on the top and heated all the way through. But I'm going to freeze them like this, and then pull them out and thaw them when I want to use them, and then cook them the same way, 400 for 20 minutes. Once I figure out the points, I will put it down in the description bar below so you know how many points these are. I think what I'm going to do is flash freeze these on a cookie sheet, just like this. And then once they're frozen, I will put them into a reusable plastic Ziploc bag, freezer bag, and put them right into the freezer. I think I'm even going to put the cheese on them right now. Make life easy. And then we just sprinkle them with a little paprika, and they'll be ready for the freezer. And that is all I have for you this week. Hopefully I'll be doing more of these. Like I said, this was my first one. I hope I wasn't too awkward. I know things could have been a little bit smoother. We'll see what happens in the editing. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please click the subscribe button below and hit the little notification bell so you know when I upload a new one. See you in a couple days, hopefully, for a What I Ate in a Day on Weight Watchers Freestyle. Sorry, WW. I'll never get used to that. Bye, guys. So here's our completed meal prep for today. I made 2 breakfasts with the egg bites. The recipe makes 14, but to be honest with you, my husband and I were dying to try them, so we each ate one of those. And then I put a couple in baggies to take to my WW workshop on Tuesday night to share with my leader and my guide, because they love all of my recipes usually, and I like to share them with them. So I have 2 breakfasts, one for me, one for my hubby. Ran out of my glass meal prep containers because I have leftovers in the fridge. I made 4 bagels. They're gonna get sliced and put in the freezer. They turned out beautifully. And like I said, I do make the bagel buns, not the bagels. My 6 twice baked potatoes. Great making them ahead because we're gonna have them during a weeknight this week, and it's hard to get something like that made during the day. I do work from home, but I am extremely busy all day and would never have the time to make them. And I have 2 egg rolls in a bowl. This one's a little less because I dropped it when I was getting ready to film. And here is my Jell-O fluff dessert, which is not quite set up yet. So there it is, and I will put all the recipes down in the description bar below. And if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And like I said, don't forget to hit the subscribe. Bye.